We have a live guest here in studio, not just any live guest, Dr. Scott Miller, President Scott Miller of Batten University.
How about just Scott?
How about just Scott?
Yeah.
We can work with that.
Terrific.
That works great for us. Joining us here from Batten University to talk about, well, quite a few things. We played a little bit of your State of the University yesterday, so we know sort of what you guys have going on over there, and it's a lot. But I want to start here. 12th State of the University for you. When it comes to getting up there at the podium in front of the big crowd, you totally used to it? Any nerves left at all?
Yeah, totally used to it. This is my 36th year as a college president, so I've been around the block a few times, and this is an exciting time at Batten University.
It sounds like it. I do want to ask, 36 years as a college president, from year 1 to year 36, what's the biggest difference kind of across the board?
Oh, higher education's changed so much during that 36 years. When I became a college president 36 years ago, I was a non-traditional candidate. I was 31 years old. I had come out of public relations, marketing, and development, and typically the path was an academic dean to a college president, not somebody from one of the non-traditional paths. Now it seems like they're coming from all over in different varieties, so that's the major difference these days.
Yeah, I think we've experienced a little bit of that here as well. It seems like sort of in modern life, with all the resources that people have, you can sort of make those changes a little more uniquely than used to be the case. Anything you would tell 31-year-old Scott about what's to come?
It's been a terrific ride. I love what I do, and these days you see more people wanting to get into the college presidency, I think, for the perks rather than for the legitimate reason about caring about the quality of education or advancing the agenda, and that's a major difference from 36 years ago.
Yeah, and you guys have done quite a bit here just in the last year to advance that agenda, to improve the quality.
Busy year.
Been a very busy year. We'll start with Sentara, an acquisition of Sentara College and Health as now a part of Batten University. How did this come about, this relationship?
We've been having discussions with Sentara Health since 2016. They are the 21st largest private health system in the country, superior reputation in the services they provided. And in 2016, we had the first conversation. It led to us developing our student health center with Sentara. It's been managed by them ever since. We took our athletic training and sports medicine program with Sentara, and then they supported a bridge program for students, a boot camp for students before the fall semester that's run for 6 years in a row now. And so we've had a great relationship with them. But when we first had the discussion in 2016, there was a trend that was existing where health systems were reprioritizing what their mission was and focusing on health and looking to outstanding partners to take over their education divisions. And, at the time we were Virginia Wesleyan College. And at that time, and we still do, have a superior reputation in the sciences. And so it was a natural locally that a national liberal arts institution and a premier health system would get together and discuss educational opportunities. So as the discussion progressed, 2019, we developed some joint degree programs between then Virginia Wesleyan University and Sentara College of Health Sciences. And the popularity of that program grew, and a year and a half ago we re-entertained the discussion of what it would look like if Sentara College of Health Sciences were to become a part of Batten University. And we're absolutely delighted. The leadership of Sentara Corporate has been terrific. Dennis Mathis and his staff have been outstanding to work with, and the merger has been seamless, and we've completed all the hoops and hurdles. We just have to wait right now for the U.S. Department of Education to give one regulatory sign-up, and then we'll be there on financial aid. But right now, the merger was completed on June the 30th. The two institutions are operating as one, but as a separate unit until we complete jumping through the hoops, and it's just been a wonderful relationship. And with that, we acquired 39 outstanding faculty and staff. So we're not starting from scratch. We have an outstanding group to work from, and the high quality that students have seen going there in the past will not only sustain but grow in the future.
You talk about anytime there are acquisitions and mergers in any field, but especially one where you're going to be serving young people, how critical is it that you have what you described, which is that organic growth of the relationship over time rather than just kind of splashing in and trying to force it together?
Yeah, so the winner in all this is the students. Since 2019, the two schools have operated separately, but have operated offering a joint degree in the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. With the completion of this transaction, 13 different degree and certificate programs will move under our portfolio. And right now, while we wait for the U.S. Department of Ed to do their regulatory sign-off, we still process financial aid separately, but when that's completed, it'll be one seamless transaction for a student. They can come to campus, take all of their classes there rather than having to take general education requirements at one of 4 partners. It'll just be us, and we'll have everything in one location, which makes ease of access and affordability and all those things will be extremely easy for the student.
Yeah, and it doesn't just mention Sentara, Batten, the student body. There's a quote here, a shared commitment to serving this region. Why
Right.
will this benefit the surrounding area?
Yeah, and if you check with any of the healthcare systems in this region, you'll hear that they have a tremendous shortage of trained personnel. And the 13 programs that we now have under the Batten University umbrella will mean that we'll be able to expand what we offer to students in this area, which means that unmet potential will be realized by healthcare systems and can improve services and expand services and reduce waiting times because they'll have more trained personnel able to address them.
It feels like a win-win-win-win. That's how it seems. Is it something that, were there hurdles along the way? Was there ever a point where you wondered if this would be able to come to fruition?
This has been a seamless transaction because they're two like-minded organizations. It was a friendly transition between two organizations that had worked well together on other things, and so it has really worked ideally. Right now, Sentara College operates out of a campus that's 3 exits up on the interstate from us. And our plan is, over the next couple years, to move that operation to the main campus. And when we get all of the programs to the main campus, it means that all of those programs will be in one location. So whether it's commuters from this region or residential students, everything will be there in one single location. And that's our goal. Before, the way it was done, a student could take their general ed requirements on our campus or at one of the 3 other partners of Sentara. Now everything will be one, and with that one, it makes it more efficient for the students, and they can spend more time worrying about their academics and getting through their degree and the outcomes and working for a job rather than fighting traffic or going back and forth between 2 different locations.
Yeah, up there by that 264 exit, there can be a little bit of traffic.
There can be some congestion there.
Yeah. You guys are lucky that as you're coming down Northampton, you take that left rather than having to go right. You talk about strong relationships that benefit the surrounding community. I know that there's going to be an expansion of educational access through the prison education program. How did that come about, and why is that so important?
Yeah, this has been a busy year for us. We've had 4 pretty major things happen this year, and the prison education program came about a year and a half ago through an introduction with the Department of Corrections. And from a prior presidency, I have a little bit of experience doing prison education programs, and they said, we really have this need. Would you be interested in Batten University pursuing this? And without hesitation, we said yes. And so last fall, we started a program at St. Bride's Correctional Center and Indian Creek Correctional Center, both in Chesapeake, and had an overwhelming response the first semester. We completed all the regulatory approvals with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools for accreditation, with SCHEV, with the U.S. Department of Education, and now we're offering full degrees at those 2 correctional facilities. And, to look at the impact of it, the first semester we had a little bit over 100 learners that signed up, met the criteria, and were able to enroll in those classes right there in the prisons. And this year it's gone 2.5 times that. And so we're really excited because it's making a difference in society. And at my State of the University yesterday, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention an individual who's played an important role in this, and that's Gil Bland. And Gil is the president of the Urban League of Hampton Roads. And what an amazing story he is, a successful businessman, owned dozens of restaurants. And Gil, at one point in his life, said, "I'm going to put my businesses on the back burner to focus on something I really believe in, and that's the Urban League." And so for $1 a year, he took over leadership of the Urban League in Hampton Roads. He's been a good friend and partner, and he's picked up and is doing the career development component of our educational program at the 2 correctional centers. So we'll offer the degree programs, the classes, provide the faculty and the support. But when they get close to release or they get close to finishing their degrees, the Urban League will step in, and the Urban League will provide career development opportunities. They'll do counseling on writing a resume and a cover letter, how to represent their careers. They even will be working with us on finding businesses in this region that are second chance businesses. And this all comes through, the joint effort of Batten University and the Urban League of Hampton Roads. And, I'd really be remiss if I didn't mention that Congressman Bobby Scott was there for the announcement yesterday. He found some congressionally directed funds to help facilitate the initial part of the career development program. And what a champion of higher education we have in Bobby Scott. When the Democrats are in majority, he's the chair of Education and Workforce. When they're not in control, he's the ranking member of that committee. He's always finding ways for opportunity for education, to support education. And he has worked with us tirelessly on the prison education program and also on other programs on our campus as well.
It's amazing the synergy here. I'll do a tease ahead to some of our shows later on 13 News Now. Earlier today, this morning, Senator Tim Kaine and Congressman Bobby Scott were in Newport News to discuss special education and healthcare. So there you go, 4 o'clock on 13 News Now. You can hear more about some of those things that Bobby Scott is doing to champion education.
I could also share things that Tim Kaine's doing too, because this past year, one of the workforce needs in this region, there's a group that is served a neurodiverse community. And Tim Kaine and Mark Warner provided some federal money for us to start a center for neurodiversity. And it's not just for high school age kids that are going to college that perhaps have learning challenges. The federal money that's designated to get this center going, and we'll continue it after the federal money's gone, but the program is designed to help the neurodiverse community. And it's for workforce development programs as well. What does the neurodiverse community do when they, say, get through college and then have to go out into the workforce? There are some special needs that have to be addressed in order to make them workforce ready, and we're so appreciative. The Kaine, Warner, and Scott team have been so supportive of the programs that we've had.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And both with the initiative that you just discussed and with the prison education program, and especially with the help of Gil, taking it that next step, right? You get the college degree, but now we're also going to make sure there's an infrastructure so that you can take that and sort of capitalize on it. So it's great to hear. Now, you talk about some of those major changes. It's interesting what dominates the attention economy nowadays, because for all these stories that we're talking about, I think the name change is maybe the one that got the most clicks on our website. You've mentioned Virginia Wesleyan a couple times, the transition over to Batten University. What has that been like? I don't know that I've ever seen a university change names in my time here.
Yeah, so this hasn't happened overnight. And this is something when you trace the different points in the history this has been discussed. The first serious discussion of it occurred in 2006, and that was long before I was even in the picture at Virginia Wesleyan. And at the time, the school and the Batten family said, let's hold that for later on. And as the institution matured, I arrived in 2015. 2016, we made the decision to become a university, offer graduate programs, offer online programs. In addition to that, we made the address change to Virginia Beach from a marketing and branding standpoint. And then in 2017, with Virginia Wesleyan University, with Virginia Beach as our address, with new branding and marketing in place, we envisioned what we could be 10 years down the road, and that's a more comprehensive national arts and sciences institution. And so what you've seen over those years is amazing growth. We've gone outside the model. We're no longer just a traditional residential liberal arts college. We started the graduate programs. We started online at the undergraduate and graduate level. We have a collaborative campus in Tokyo, Japan, that provides an international opportunity for any full-time student who's enrolled in the parent campus to go over to Japan and have a mini term, a semester, a summer term, or an entire year at the campus over there. It also gives us a location, an office in Asia to recruit students to come to the main campus. I mentioned the 2 prison-related programs, but on top of that, last year, actually months ago now, in April, we opened the new facility for the Virginia Museum of Contemporary Art. I don't know that there are too many schools that in one year can talk about an international center in Tokyo, Japan, a prison program at 2 different locations, that acquires a College of Health Sciences and that opens a major national museum all in the same year. And that's something that's unique, but it's taken us to a different level. And the Batten family has been a very important part of this. I shared yesterday at my State of the University a letter from June of 1960, before Virginia Wesleyan even opened, where Frank Batten shared his thoughts in a written form to the United Methodist Church on what a college would mean if they would bring it to the Hampton Roads area. And it's interesting that he would share that in 1960. In 1978, Jane took an interest in the institution. 1981, joined the board. 1995, chaired the board. 1998, finished that, and her husband made a large gift to build a state-of-the-art student center that's still state-of-the-art today. And if you check our progress, and if you check the strength of the institution, the growth of our endowment, the building of new facilities, the acquisition of a collaborative campus in Tokyo, Japan, the focus on environmental sciences, you look at all those things, and the Batten name has somehow been connected to every one of those initiatives. Whether it's one of them, a member of their family or their foundation have been donors to those, or good friends of them who've been involved in the institution, believe in what we're doing, and have helped advance that agenda. So it's a natural. And a number of people have said to me, well, what does the United Methodist Church think of this? The United Methodist Church was involved in the decision, and they have been very supportive. And as they pointed out to us, a number of the really prominent United Methodist institutions bear the names of individuals. And, Duke University in 1924 stirred controversy when they were then Trinity College. And these people that were in the tobacco business named Duke came along. And they named Duke University, changed it from Trinity to Duke. Drew University in New Jersey, prominent institution affiliated with the church. Emory, Otterbein, there are Baldwin Wallace, all schools affiliated with the United Methodist Church that at some time in their history have taken on the names of individuals. And so, as John Grisham said, and I'll paraphrase this, in Virginia, any project that has the Batten name associated with it, it's the ultimate validity. I think people are going to see that much like the Vanderbilts at Vanderbilt University, Johns Hopkins, even Harvard, named after individuals, I think you're going to see that this will be a value added to the degrees of graduates of our institution.
And I think that, a lot of people, when they react to a change like that, it's that history that maybe is not completely able to be included in a headline. What was it like navigating the different opinions that came about?
Well, we anticipated that. When we were doing the feasibility study, and this was over, a 6-7 year period, a marketing firm helped us take a look at things, and we identified a couple of institutions that in the past 25 years, or a little bit longer in one of the institutions' cases, had changed their names to be named after donors. And we focused in, Rowan was a little bit further back than 25 years. I believe it was in the 1990s. Trine University in Indiana was in the last 25 years. And they shared their game plans with us, what worked, what didn't work, what to learn from it. And, Trine in particular was a resource to us. The president was available whenever we needed to talk on strategy, and we really followed that blueprint. And so, in rolling it out, the things that we set out really have worked pretty effectively now.
Yeah. All right. So now moving forward as Batten University, not just here, but in Tokyo, have you been?
I've been there many a time.
Okay.
Go back 31 years when that campus was founded. I was a young doctoral student at the time, and the founder of that institution, David Black, is now our executive in residence. He founded the campus in it would have been probably 1989 or 90. And because of his involvement over 3 decades, we had an opportunity to partner with Lakeland University in Wisconsin and become their collaborative partner. And now we operate a School for International Studies there that is a collective between Lakeland University in Wisconsin, the Lakeland campus in Japan, and us. And we're the 3 institutions. What's particularly significant, the World Affairs Council of Hampton Roads now has an office on our campus, and any student from the 3 institutions that does a study away opportunity on any of those 3 campuses for more than a semester can now get a World Affairs Council certificate, which from a credentialing standpoint, students looking to get an arm up in the market is something that can be quite significant for them when they go out in a career development standpoint.
Yeah.
We're really thrilled with this because it takes us to inner city Tokyo. It provides an opportunity for students here. For example, our Batten Honors College, every student is told that as a part of their scholarship, they can go there, and the only out-of-pocket cost that they have is for housing. And to have a global opportunity in Tokyo is just amazing. We can also arrange internships. We have the relationship with the Port of Virginia here and the Port of Tokyo in Japan. Not many students can have those 2 opportunities, and it's just something that is unique. It's a value added to a Batten University degree. It also enables us to operate an office in Tokyo, so we can recruit from 22 Asian countries. Students can go there for 2 years and then come to the main campus, both here and our partner in Wisconsin. And the students that come seeking that model can go to their home countries or stay here, and it's an awfully attractive model from a career development standpoint.
I would imagine that across countries and cultures, there are probably aspects of education that are similar, but also plenty that are different. Is there anything that you guys have learned about education from being in Tokyo?
Yeah, we actually think that every student in our traditional program should take advantage of some kind of study away experience during their 2, 3, or 4 years with us. We think that students learn best when they're pushed outside their comfort zone. And there can be a comfort zone, but they can be pushed outside their comfort zone when we have a campus in Tokyo, because they can go to this campus where all classes are taught in English, but they'll live in Tokyo and they'll experience the culture of Tokyo. And yet some of that reassurance of being there with friends and classmates from America they'll intermix with students from Asia, but at the same time, some of their friends will be there that might give them the reassurance and confidence rather than getting too homesick after being there for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So, the completion rate and the satisfaction rate of students going there for their global experience has been amazing, and that program will only grow in the future.
When you talk about what study abroad can do, the benefits that it can bring to a college student during those formative years, I know for me during my college experience, what may have been more formative for me than anything is the social aspect.
Right.
Being on campus, being around where at that time, everywhere you look, there were just people out and around. We are in a time now post-COVID where studies indicate that there is less of that, just in society in general. Have you found that campus life has changed since COVID and with sort of the arrival of a new generation on campuses?
Yeah, and there are greater needs. And so we formed a Center for Student Success to address those things, just what you're talking about. And it's now in its 2nd full year. And with that center, funded through private and federal grants, we've hired academic coaches. And what we found since the pandemic, learners are more isolated. They got hooked on iPads and YouTube and games online and that variety, which is different from the college students of the past. What these academic coaches are assigned to do is they have a certain number of students that are theirs. And if they're doing a checklist on their students and they see that Connor's missed a few classes without really being accountable to the professor on why he's missed, or if he's not eating in the cafeteria, there's something that is a trigger to these coaches, and the coaches go out and find them on campus and say, hey, before you get in the hole too much, we'd like to see, do you need counseling, whether it be mental health counseling, or do you need academic counseling? And what that does, it helps with retention. It makes them a retention statistic rather than an attrition statistic. But a lot of times, just having somebody check in on them is a good, before they get themselves into a hole by poor choices, we help pull them out of that rut.
Okay, that's excellent to hear that you guys are putting thought into that. I will note, you said a very specific phrase, which is that Connor's been missing classes. Just an example, Mom and Dad, I never missed any classes. On my thing, I was there. I was in the class, I was ready to go.
I'll have to talk to your parents about
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's wonderful to hear, though. I'm glad that you guys are putting thought in that. I know it's a very serious topic, and it's something that obviously will kind of evolve over time, right?
It will.
And I'm sure that colleges
Although we've
will
seen
adjust.
immediate results.
You have. Okay, wonderful.
And we've learned some other things also. Our campus, the traditional student population is 43% from underrepresented populations, 42% Pell eligible, which means financial need, and 30% the first in their family to go to college. And kids in particular that are the first in their family to go to college have special learning needs and special challenges. And the coaches help, the academic coaches help them through those processes. One thing we found is that a lot that are the first in their family to go to college would say, in high school I never had to buy books. Maybe I can just scarf off of somebody else or go to the library to borrow a book rather than buying a book. We've now rolled that into their comprehensive fee, so whether they like it or not, they're getting the books. What we found is that some of those first generation students weren't buying the books and would get themselves backlogged or in a hole by not studying off of textbooks. And by requiring them now and having them as a part of their comprehensive fee, they get them right away, and there's no excuse for not reading or studying. So that's all a part of addressing the needs of the new students.
All right. Batten University addressing needs of students in more ways than one. A very busy 2026. Dr. Scott Miller, we appreciate you spending some time with us in the midst of a very busy year. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
Back to Sentara College for a second. I mentioned the fact that we've acquired the main campus in Chesapeake and that we're planning on moving it to campus. One thing that we rolled out yesterday is that a donor-funded initiative will lead to the construction of a new Center for Health Sciences on campus. And we rolled out some plans of that yesterday to the crowd. They saw it for the first time, and it's a 49,000 square foot facility, $35 million cost. And we expect to break ground on it in the spring, to have it finished for occupancy in the fall of 2029. And so during that time period, we will gradually be moving all of the academic programs from the Chesapeake campus to our main campus. And we also see that the new facility and having it there at the main campus will enable us to grow that program and meet the employment needs of the healthcare industry more significantly in the next 3, 5, and 10 years.
That's wonderful. Growth seems to be the optimal word when we
That
talk
it
about
is.
Batten University. Now, that's Dr. Miller, or if you see him on campus, Scott.
There you go.
And thank you for joining us today. We hope
Glad
to see
to
you again down
join
the
you.
road.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time that you guys, a new initiative I'm sure will come up before long.
Sounds great.
All right.